All right, for more on Africa-US relations, we chat now to our reporter, Sarah Kimani, in Nairobi, Kenya. Always a pleasure to see you, Sarah. Are Kenyans particularly concerned about a second Trump term? We just heard, in fact, in that clip that we played just now, that there is that sort of close link that, that Obama had with Kenya, and I suppose the Obama administration then had with Kenya. And one wonders then if a Biden victory might indirectly, I suppose, for Kenyans then mean, an Obama victory, or kind of remembering, the era of Obama for some reason.
Yes, indeed. There is a lot of nostalgia here in Kenya. A lot of people remembering the times of the Obama administration and the relationship and the attention that brought to Kenya. So a lot of people really looking up to Joe Biden for a win. But also we've noticed that there's a bit of caution when you look at the social media, people saying this time they are not so sure if they can place their money on Joe Biden like they did at Hillary the last time, then she lost the election. But a lot of people also making a lot of parallels now to what is happening in America right now and what is happening in elections that have happened in the last few days in Africa. A lot of them poking fun and saying, who would have thought that we would be comparing elections in African countries to an election in the States? So people already poking fun and also trying to console themselves. It's not so bad here in Africa.
Now, we're talking about the fact that US-Africa relations experts are saying that a Joe Biden administration is good for Africa's bid to integrate so far as trade is concerned. Can you talk to us more about that? And is that the feeling really of Kenyans? Is there some kind of understanding that Joe Biden victory would somehow be beneficial to the entire continent? I was under the impression that, big business, for example, on the African continent would be kind of nodding or kind of wanting a Trump administration again, as we know, and we've heard that Trump is supposedly seen as more pro-business than Biden is. I wonder what, in that regard, where Kenyans stand.
Yes, indeed, Trump is seen as more pro-business, but a lot of people here are treading very cautiously. Yeah. In July this year, the U.S. and Kenya started signing an agreement on trade between Kenya and the U.S. It is said that this will form the call sheet of what America plans to sign with other countries. And so people are very cautious because already in that same July, when the African Continental Free Trade Agreement came into effect. And so people feeling that under Trump administration, regional agreements that have been done before, or a continental agreement one that we are now waiting to see the implementation, the AfCFTA, will be undermined by the bilateral agreements that the Trump administration wants to do. Instead, they feel that Biden would be able to negotiate the continent. President Obama, remember, having gone to the African Union and addressed the African Union, and seemed to prefer to have negotiations from the African Union level coming down to the country level. And so they feel that a Biden administration is good for the integration of the continent, which is what the Agenda 2063 of the African Union is at.
Sarah, I was talking to our correspondent in Abuja, Philly Haza, and one of the issues he raised just as we were wrapping up our conversation is quite an important issue, and that is of the movement, Black Lives Matter, for example. And of course, Trump seeing to be someone staying away from supporting any kind of movement like that. And of course, it doesn't take a lot to guess why, as a lot of his support base is really people who would generally not be supporting a Black Lives Matter movement. In terms of the African continent, one would assume that that is a very big issue in terms of whether or not, the likability issue when it comes to Trump. Has there been a lot of conversation around that? I know that in Nigeria there's a lot of conversation around that, but I wonder if it's the same case in Kenya, Sarah.
Yes, it is, but it goes further into our neighbors, Somalia, Sudan, where they have seen in Tanzania, where they have been banned from long stays in America. And so they're looking at it as discrimination, the Muslim community, and also discrimination of countries in Africa. Trump was at some point as having called the continent a shithole continent. Indeed, in one of the Vox Pops, he's quoted as having not had enough respect for the continent. And so a lot of Kenyans, and because Kenya has a lot of people from different countries, feel that the Trump administration failed to bring together the continent and to have clear policy on the continent. Instead, seems to be identity the continent and its people every time he opens his mouth or every time he signs an agreement on the continent. Even further, they feel that the previous administrations have had a lot of work to do in terms of peace agreements that have been signed, whether it is in South Sudan, whether it is in Somalia, whether it is in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And they feel that this time the U.S. government has not been involved enough. There's also the issue of democracy. At this time, we have various heads of state who have increased their mandate legally to a third term. They feel that the U.S. has remained mum, while previously they would have been sanctioned, or the U.S. governments would have spoken louder to warn these leaders. Neighboring Tanzania's oppression of the opposition and the media has received very little attention from the American government. So I feel that he has failed through and through.
All right, let's leave it there then. Sarah Kimani speaking to us from Nairobi in Kenya. We'll certainly be catching up with you at a later stage as we do sort of focus on what Africans at large are saying about the U.S. elections.